Hello and welcome to a custom map cast. We have Jae4Jett and Talisman facing off again on Deutz. Deutz made by yours truly, Trick_TV, and Classy Dave from one of the previous seasons of the Seasonal Map Cup. We have Jae4Jett on the west end of Deutz, again running Armor Company, insta-locking as a matter of fact, with the increased range on the utility car by 3%, increased sight by 5%, the increased accuracy by 3% on the 50 cal, with 5% increased suppression also on the 50 cal. On the east end, we have Talisman on OST, not opting to insta-lock a commander this time around, and he is running German infantry, Jaeger armor, and defensive doctrine, with the 2% faster between shots and reload on the grenadiers, the 4% increased armor on the OST sniper, and then the, I believe, 5% increased armor on the 222. Yes, that is indeed what it is. We have a pretty standard opening. We have the infantry company with the MG42 and 2 grenadiers, all pretty standard for those of you who are not familiar with the map. We have the master cutoff for all of the resources in the south on the eastern base here, and the north for the western base here, and then a double cutoff for the north fuel for the eastern base, and then in the south, the same thing for the western base, a double cutoff with the munitions right down the middle of the Hohenzollern Bridge, and then the VP's a little bit safer on the far ends, but middle one obviously smack in the middle of the map. And that's all that's really changed outside of some pathing changes and additional pathways open up for ultra late game. Huge flanks and all that wonderfulness, but exact same opening for Jae4Jett, going into double assault engineers and then into a lieutenant, so he's going to have a little bit of a hard time finding the map control that he would like, not getting the flank with the assault engineers from the middle onto the MG42 this time around, and the MG42 is just covering all the pathways down, so these assault engineers are going to work their way down over this tunnel and not want to deal with any of that. REs, however, trying to close the distance of all things against Pioneers and retreating him back across that negative cover road, trying to maybe bait that MG42 to turn around, but Talisman's not going to fall for that. Assault engineers realize they're not going to find any opportunities here and just go for the territory point instead. Assault engineers move all the way down. They do find the grenadiers. They're threatening to hop inside the house, and they do. Only 2 windows, no windows on the far side here. Secondary grenadier squad trying to push up into this and not really succeeding much. Assault engineers just doing their work though, threatening these Grens, and now with the secondary squad, there is no door on this side, so he has to walk all the way around on this garage if he wants to, and realizing there's no windows here, he's just going to stand here and telepathically fire bullets into the building, dealing tons of damage to the grenadiers while the grenadiers cannot retaliate in any way. These Grens are in trouble. He could actually end up losing one of these squads on retreat if he's not careful, but he does retreat in both. A third squad does come in and tag them out and gets some good damage onto one of the assault engineers and gets a retreat, but he is controlling the south. The north, however, is under Talisman's control, so Jae4Jett not getting double fuel control at the start of the game this time around, but the assault engineers at close range like that are just going to chew up the grenadiers, and they do so. So lieutenant ready to go. We surely have the mechanized unlock, and it is indeed happening with the utility car coming out immediately thereafter. However, with all of this, the MG42 and the Pioneers were able to stabilize up in the north, so arguably Talisman has a chance this time around. With the lack of commander selection, I really doubt he's going into the German infantry. We are going to see Jaeger armor, which full Panzer Grenadier and Greifen strats on Deutz, if that's what we see, or the defensive community. Now, with defensive, he doesn't have the Austruppen, so it would be a bit of a surprise to see it later on, but he does have the Stug 3, the E assault gun, the one that lobs little shells, typically only seen in mechanized beforehand, but it could be interesting to see this, but I truly, genuinely doubt we'll see German infantry this game. Assault engineers moving up again. RE finds the MG42 covering the retreat path, so the assault engineers will walk out of that cone a little bit. Utility car, I'm sure, once it gets to the front line, as it's just now hitting, will go to bully this MG42, but with the retreat of the Pioneers, the MG42 is backing on away. Getting the master cut off in the south now for Talisman, but doesn't connect to anything. Utility car is here, and the MG42 was thinking about south retreating, and now it just outright runs away. Have we gotten to the light mechanized yet? We have. So he could try and go into the 222 to fight the utility car. Or maybe just go into a pack and try and play it ultra defensively and try and bait the utility car into it. But I'm very curious to see how Talisman deals with this early light vehicle aggression, because it definitely gave him trouble before. Lieutenant trying to fight off this Grenadier squad. Secondary squad hanging out on the cutoff here. Third squad in the bushes. And they will just shake hands and say, that's enough of that. And the lieutenant and the Gren squad will run on out of there while the utility car kites one of the two remaining Grenadier squads along the bridge up in the north, or more so the middle of the map. Assault engineers run all the way up. They are able to close that distance. A little bit of an unlucky encounter for the Grenadiers going around that sight blocker at the last second and running into medium-range assault engineers, but he is grabbing up this cutoff again, so this territory point will no longer be connected. And VP being contested by the Grenadiers, just going to try and sit here and grab it up, and it is indeed the 222 from the light mechanized. He's going to try and bully this utility car on and away. Now, the vehicle crew comes with a bazooka, so he can't hop it out. He actually got snared here, and with the 222 hitting, the assault engineers over here will be more than enough. So he'll be able to repair that up. So utility car not in trouble. Meanwhile, we have all kinds of shenanigans happening up north. We have the cutoff being grabbed, the secondary and primary in the north for Talisman, but not opting to cap either of them and just letting the fuel go while the assault engineers soft retreat back onto the VP. He does get it repaired up, but Grenadier squad goes right around the corner and finds another snare, and that 222 should be able to pick up the kill on this utility car, so he's gonna have to hop out and fight with a bazooka. He pops smoke, forcing either an attack round or just driving through it for Talisman, and he opts to back away. There's the bazooka from the lieutenant. He hops back in, the 222 attack grounding, trying to back out of here. The lieutenant's enough of a threat to maybe get him out. The cooldown does not come off from the Grenadiers in time to get another snare off, and the utility car leaves and lives, and so does the 222. Secondary Pioneer squad now the choice. Meanwhile, we have a 50 cal suppressing up and bullying the MG42, while the assault engineers, realizing that the MG42 is not able to get into position onto the fuel, close the distance onto those Pioneers. Pioneers have to retreat home. MG42 sets up, despite being shot at by the 50 cal, to cover the retreat path of those Pioneers and then retreat themselves after getting the suppression off. Assault engineers hanging out behind a old Panzer IV carcass, firing into the Grenadiers, not at the range that they optimally would like to be at. Taking a good chunk of damage from these Grens. Grens could move back a little bit, and they do. Assault engineers, tired of that engagement range, move forward a little bit more as those Grenadiers moved over into the west. So trying to pull the squads apart and get the concentrated fire off of these assault engineers. And he does so successfully, gets to retreat from that Grenadier squad. Assault engineers still here, the utility car still trying to deal as much damage as it can, and doing so successfully, but gets snared again. He's going to get a little bit of a speed bonus across the road. I like the play here from Talisman, baiting behind the sight blocker a little bit, but I think that was more of a miss micro from Jae4Jett than anything else. The 222 rolling forward, firing shots into the lieutenant. Lieutenant's still here, can fire, does find a shot, it even curves into it, must hit, they say, and the utility car isn't going to make it all the way back. The lieutenant taking quite a good chunk of damage. This 222 really wants that utility car, and with the vehicle crew shot onto it, and the lieutenant's still here, one model left, the main gun destroyed. Not quite enough damage to actually get the explosion and the death of the 222. 222 will head home. So, light vehicle shenanigans aside, it's not as dominating as it was before, but this time around, it's been enough to still put Talisman in his base, and another 222 is a choice. A rifleman, now this is very curious from Jae4Jett, as they're not going to have any snares or anything until Veterancy 1. So the rifle squad, I guess, is just to help combat the Grenadiers. But the longer that this goes on, the longer that Jae4Jett has double fuel, the more likely that the Major is going to come out ASAP, and then it's going to be very hard to deal with like 12 to 13 minute Shermans. And with investment into two 222s. This delays the tech into tier 3, so the support armor is going to be even later. And now the utility car looks like it's going to potentially find... No, the threat of the FOSS from the Grenadiers is enough to get the utility car to go away, so the MG42 will make it out. 222 fires some shots into the rear armor, good damage. The assault engineers with that M2 flamethrower are going to toast up those Grens, and the Grens head home. The utility car rolling forward, really wanted to fight, but the secondary 222 changes his mind a little bit. Lieutenant shot from the bazooka misses. Pioneers retreating. One squad standing their ground against double assault engineers, and they're gonna melt quick. He does retreat him after they take a good chunk of damage, about 65%. Lieutenant fires another shot. We got a good old freedom blob headed right down the bridge. 222's trying to hit anything, deal any damage, bleed any manpower from Jae4Jett, but just not succeeding. Another lieutenant shot with a bazooka sails off wide and misses. Grenadiers back out. MG42 really wishing he'd probably has a second one at this point. Major already out for Jae4Jett. Fuel, however, has changed hands in the south, but we did get the cutoff contested by Jae4Jett with the rifleman. Ren's pushing forward. They have to get on this cutoff. He needs this fuel. This is really good movement from Jae4Jett so far. And there's that Sherman. It's going to be about 11.5 minutes, not even the 12-minute mark. And another MG42. He's not expecting the early Sherman, but maybe a bit of a misread from Talisman here, thinking that the Sherman won't be as early as it's going to be. Utility car bullying this 222 again. 222 backs up in a little bit of a precarious situation. Not the best backup path it could have gotten, but the 222 trying to bully it. These shots, the armor skirt, the smoke. 222 really wants this. Puts it on hold fire, and then vehicle only. He's going to get it. Utility car down. Double 222 pays off, but at what cost? Because now their Sherman is quickly tagging out that utility car. But this does give a little bit of breathing room for Talisman on the map, getting a little bit of fueling him finally. But double 222 against a Sherman, it's not too much that they are going to be able to do. He needs a pack ASAP. And we did get the defensive community locked in, so he has access to the Ostrupen, the Stug, the Pack 43 emplacement, concrete bunkers, and all of that wonderfulness. But let's see what that Sherman decides to do. He knows that Major's out too, so I'd have to believe that this is a pack immediately after this. With the call-in of Ostrupen, he's just trying to swarm the map and get some sort of semblance of control somewhere. Sherman on the hunt for the 222s. Finds one, hits it right in the front. Doesn't look like it does much of any damage. The HE shell not really proving its worth there. There's that shot that looked relevant, though. And is this a concede of one of the 222s? Trying to fight into the MG42, but no, both 222s get out of there. HE shells firing on it away. He does FOSS once, but needs two to get the damage onto that snare. But Talisman definitely thinking he had more time with that MG42 and the Ostrupen for that Sherman to come out. He was expecting it like 13 minutes, and it was about a minute earlier than he wanted. There's the pack. He's still holding in the south for now. The one Grenadier squad that was down here, however, retreating, so that'll be short-lived. And M5 going down cancels it as the retreating squad was going to spot it out. We'll place it in a different spot now, or just opt to back off? Nope, he's opting to back off. Okay. But yeah, he wanted these Ostrupen to just try and get out on the map for free. Just a cheap squad that he doesn't really care about. Potentially recrew up these team weapons if he does lose them, but not really doing the work that he would have liked. Pack is ready to go, but it's back at base while the Sherman tries to fire into this MG42 with the Ostrupen. Not going to hold at bay these assault engineers. 222 in the south fighting into the Major, but the Major does decap that munitions, and those Ostrupen were clumped up. If that shot would have hit, that would have been a dead Ostrupen squad. Pack shot fires once. Just once. Grenadiers engaging the riflemen in the south. 222. Thought about maybe potentially potentially pushing into the south. Another Sherman queued up. It's looking like a heavy tier 2 build. Now, I'm really curious if he gets a Pack 43 down, if that's going to be enough to get him some sort of map control. 222 rolls up and just dies. Double 50 cals. He was not expecting it. There's an M5 here as well. So one of the 222s is gone. The bleed that this Sherman's going to provide is just so high. With 2 of them out, it's not looking good. Despite better unit preservation this time around, Talisman's just been in his base. That HE shot, ton of damage on everything. Pack shot, though, sails across. And he calls in the Stug E! Oh, no. What? I mean, even if it gets the Vet 1 for the target weak point, like, it's never going to be able to contest these Shermans. It's just going to get dove. Maybe it's some sort of manpower bleed? I don't know about that one. It fires a shot. There's the rapid artillery barrage from the Major. Sherman rolls up. The Pack finds a shot. Doesn't look like a pen, though. Artillery going down. Stug trying desperately to do anything. The 222 goes down, focusing down the Pack as the Stug doesn't throw any sort of threat anyway with these M4A3s. I think that's it. Can't even pen even when it directly hits. He's trying to run up directly onto this. The other Sherman just body blocking these Pioneers. No, you can't have it. I promise you can't. He needed another Pack. But even then, he was going to get overwhelmed. And the Stug's going to go down. There you go. Unfortunate. Unlucky, as Talisman would say. That Stug pretended that it was going to do damage. Smoke shots to try and get his assault engineers into the base. Going to remove that suppression. He's going to walk into the base with this. And that's it. Oh, he's putting down a demo! Talisman calls it. I can't believe that. Jae4Jett's USF. He's got this strat ironed out and ready to go. And what's insane to me is that he controls both these fuels for 3 minutes or more at a time. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's so strange. Can't believe that. Talisman actually picks it up. So, excuse me, Jae4Jett actually picks it up. Third M4A3 was on the line. Oh my. But for those of you who are on the rerun or on the YouTube, thank you so much for enjoying. I hope you enjoyed the cast. That was definitely an underdog story for sure. And we'll go ahead and get on to the next one.